So, got a Chinese clone of a Kwaiback in the mail the other day. Don't remember exactly where we got it, but I'm sure you guys can find it. Wanted to go over some of the differences so that you can spot a clone and kind of give you guys an idea. So, obviously this is the clone here, hopefully, obviously. And then some of our packaging and a Kwaiback that we happen to have in a shop. So, sorry, I don't have a Kwaiback that is more similar to this one. This looks like cloned off of a probably first or second generation Kwaiback. This is a more recent carbon fiber Mark IV. Obviously carbon fiber inlay, carbon fiber show side, but it'll give you the general ideas on how to spot a clone. So first thing is packaging. Obviously ours come in these nice custom boxes. It's got COA and a wrench set, sliding lid, branded, and then customs come in a leather pouch, a hand-tooled leather pouch with a COA and a wrench set and all that fun stuff. So the clone came in a cheap cardboard box with a magnetic closure and an unfitted foam insert. Just kind of came in a box like this. Nothing too fancy. I think they're 100 bucks, 150 bucks. They used a set screw with a ball bearing, but it does not appear to roll. I haven't been able to really tear it apart to see, so it does not use an HRD. It does have a steel lock insert. It is different than the design that I produce. You can see mine has a full length lock bar, a rolling detent. It has two screws that hold it in from the outside so you can access it, and then it also has a location boss, whereas the Chinese version does not. They tried to mirror my custom pivots. They did a poor job. The head is too small and it is not eccentric. The head on our pivots is eccentric from the bore, so it doesn't rotate inside of the frame. This one does. It's also about a third to maybe a quarter different, smaller in size. External screws. There should be 3 here for the lock insert, and then 1 for the HRD. Well, 2 for the lock insert, 1 for the HRD. That's a flathead screw there. Mine is a hex. Pocket clips are a little bit different sized. Not that I care about the quality of this one. Pocket clips different size. The axe is pointing the wrong direction. Allen key is a different size as well. We are trying to make the switch over to metric, so you're not really going to be able to make that connection there. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's easier to find metric screws in this size, so I don't know if you're going to really be able to make anything out of that. Lock bar relief is going to be a big visual difference. Very squared off edges here, whereas mine is a smooth radius transition. Maintains the strength. The standoffs on the clone are squared, where mine are rounded. Jimping is similar. This is the big difference, is the grind. Even on my first and second generation productions and customs where I hand ground them, they don't sweep this much. Mark IV's, sorry, it's kind of hard to tell on this one, but has a more distinct tonneau secondary edge. It would be a better comparison if I had a first or a second generation actual Kwaiback on hand to show you guys some of the differences. Material thickness, These are just a touch thinner. This looks like maybe 4 millimeter, whereas mine were a 3/16, which would be like a 4.3 millimeter if I'm not mistaken. The choil is different. This one sucks into the frame quite a bit more than mine. That hasn't really changed much throughout the years. It doesn't have any internal lightning pockets, but first and second generation Kwaibacks of the real version do not have any internal lightning pockets either. But if you're comparing it against a Mark IV, you know, that'll be some of the differences. The fullers on the clone over all of the Kwaibacks that I've ever done, these are smaller. I use a 1/4 inch end mill to cut all the fullers, and these look to be 5/32, nah, maybe 3/16 or 5 millimeter or something like that, 4.5 millimeter. I use a 1/4 inch, so they're larger, and I don't have one sitting here to show you, but the fullers will be larger. You'll be able to measure them at just slightly over 1/4 inch wide on both sides. So that's some of the differences there. Both use external or internal stop pins. All in all, they got a lot of the features down, so it's kind of like, it's a bummer. On the Mark 1s and Mark 2s, I didn't do a relief here for the thumb, so that's a good setup. On the Mark 4s, there is a relief, but it's like a nice smooth radius, whereas this is very squared off and clunky relief. Honestly, from an engineering perspective, not a very good way to do that. You can see some tool marks in there. They just did a kind of a piss poor job with that. Lockup wise on this guy, I don't know. It's a hand ground lockup, whereas I machine all mine. So yeah, that's some of the differences there. Hopefully that answers all the questions. Of course, if you guys always have questions on the legitimacy of the knife that you're purchasing, feel free to email us, send us some pictures and as much detailed information as you can, and we will answer it. Hopefully that helps you guys out, keeps you from buying fake knives and you buy real ones. All right, guys, hope you have a great day.